Hi. Tell us about your studies written in the book Hysteria.
Well, in my book, I've come to the conclusion that many physical symptoms are often the manifestation of our repressed conflict. Later, I discovered that there are three levels of our mind. The first one is conscious, that is our thoughts. Then there is preconscious, that is our memory. And the last one is unconscious, a cauldron of primitive impulse and wishes. What about your later studies? In 1923, I developed a more complex idea of our mind that include ID, ego, and superego. The point is that every human existence has an inner conflict that is inevitable because other apparatus make demands upon us that are incompatible.
Dreams are an important part of psychology. What did you discover?
I consider dreams as a way to come to our conscious, a way for repressed material to come to awareness. Later, I distinguish between the meaning of the dreams and what they represent in our subconscious.
Let's talk with Emily Pankers.
Hi.
When did you discover your passion for politics?
Well, I was lucky enough to grow up in a political active family, and my parents were both abolitionists and supporters of the female suffrage. When I was 14, my mother took me to my first female meeting. In 1889, I became an early supporter of the Women Franchise League, which wanted to enfranchise all the women, married and unmarried alike. Luckily, my husband Richard was very supportive of my work and encouraged me in all my endeavors until his death in 1898.
What was your relationship with the government?
I was arrested quite a few times, but after the World War broke out, everything changed. The British government released all the women who were in prison because of their alliance with the Women's Social and Political Union. And after that, I encouraged them to fill the factory works so that men could fight on the front.
You said the Women's Social and Political Union. What is that?
The WSPU was a women-only political movement and a leading militant organization campaigning for women's suffrage in the UK from 1903 to 1917. From 1906 it was known as the suffragettes. We are also known for our civil disobedience and our active action. Held demonstration, broke windows in prominent buildings, and during nighttime committed arson of churches and houses. And if in prison, we went on hunger strike.
Today we are going to talk to Henry Ford.
Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
How did your career start?
Well, everything started in 1891 when I was an engineer working with the Edison Illuminating Company. I enjoyed making new experiments, and the most important one was the creation of a new type of car that I called for the quadricycle. Then with other colleagues we founded the Detroit Automobile Company, but since we had many problems and also engineering problems, I left and my friends took charge of the company. Then in 1901 the 999 model, and this new racer made me famous enough to successfully start my new company, the Ford Motor Company.
Tell us about the Model T, the car of every American driver.
Well, the Model T was the first and most successful racer produced by my company, introduced in October. And he had the steering wheel on the left, which every other company soon copied. He also had a brand new engine, suspension, and even the placement of the cylinder was new. And it was cheap to repair and easy to drive. It cost about $800, and the price lowers every day, and that's why it's called the car of every American driver, because anyone can afford it.
Our next guest is Guglielmo Marconi. Hello, Mr. Marconi.
Hello.
What were your first inventions?
I was always interested in wireless communications, so I tried to invent something that could allow the people of our world to speak with each other without any wire. So the invention that came out of this was the radio. The first radio I invented in 1899, and it allowed two cities, one from England and one from France, to speak with each other. By 1924, almost the whole world was connected with my system.
The war first affected your job?
As is the case with every war, in this war the new scientific technologies were used for the warfare. In this case, my radio was used throughout the whole war by all nations to develop a new way to talk with soldiers, to give orders to the troops without the need of the physical presence of the commanders. And so my inventions was very useful throughout the whole war.
Let's meet Albert Einstein.
Hi.
Hi.
Could you explain your way of seeing the reality around us?
Oh, well, I think that massive objects cause a distortion in space-time that we perceive as gravity. Space and time are interwoven into a single continuum that I call space-time. Although instruments can neither see nor measure space-time, I'm sure that several of theorems will be confirmed.
About your theory of special relativity?
Yes, my theory of special relativity is based on two case principles. The laws of physics don't change even for objects moving in inertial, and the principle of the speed of light that say that the speed of light is the same for all observers, regardless of their motion relative to the light surge. If you move fast enough through space, the observations that you make about space and time differ somewhat from the observation of other people who are moving at different speeds. This phenomenon is known as time dilations.
You made a law regarding energy and mass, right?
Yeah, I applied the ideas of my relativity papers to come up with the equation EmC squared that represent the relationship between mass and energy. I found that as an object approached the speed of light, the mass of the object increased. The object goes faster, but it also gets heavier. The new unified of principle, the conservation of mass energy, says that matter can be turned into energy and energy can be turned into matter because a fundamental connection exists between the two types of substance.
Hi! How did you meet the Prince of Britain?
At that time, I was married with Ernest Simpson, my second husband. And we moved from America to London, where we lived happily. And one night, I met Edward at an event, and at that time he was the Prince of England. That night, I must admit, it was very fascinating, and we fell in love instantly. I know I might be considered as a woman of loose morals, but I'd say we kept in touch and our relationship got better and better every day, while my marriage got worse every day.
What were the reasons of your difficult relationship?
I also brought American fashion in Britain, and I was definitely more outgoing than most of his family members. Because of this, many people started to judge me, and as a consequence, Edward was being judged too. Some people also said that I was a Nazi or a spy, or I loved women. In spite of these rumors, I always tried to have a good relationship with my husband's family. Later, I've discovered there are
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
In 1901, with other colleagues, I built
my inventions was very useful throughout the whole war.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G.
Are interwoven. Perché più tedesco così, interwoven.
Vai.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Dan.
Sono Mari, vai più seria, vai. Sono seria. Non guardarmi però mentre faccio la domanda, va bene? Quanto ho parlato?
Okay.
Okay, allora. You made a law regarding energy and mass, right?
Oh yes. I applied the ideas of my.
No, lei ti dice you made a law about energy and mass, right? E tu dici yes,
Oh yes!
oh yeah.
Ma scusa, gli americani e gli inglesi dicono sempre queste cose, scusami. Oh yeah! Approach, com'è che si approach it? Com'è che si dice approach. Perfetto.
I was married to Ernest since another time. It was the 1928. We moved from America to what? One day in January 1936, he told me that he wanted to marry me. Even if it meant renouncing to the throne. Oh my god. No, OMG. So we married in June. Even if he lost his opportunity to become king of England, and I'm fucking poor now. Let's go to Starbucks. Woody Simpson, the wife of Prince Edward, I was born, I don't know when, because I haven't read it yet. So, we kept in touch, but his family didn't approve our relationship, as I am the divorced American woman. I mean, it's Russian, but come on, that's the same. Then, and my marriage was getting worse day by day. One day, in January 1936, I already said it, but I have a short paragraph, so I don't care. He told me that he wanted to marry me, even if I'm fucking